Good evening. I'm Russ Moyer, your host for the Life Safety and Security Forum. I'd like to welcome you to Baseball Hall of Fame. I'm here in Cooperstown, New York, and we're here for the 1997 induction ceremony for Willie Wells, Nellie Fox, Phil Necro, and Norristown native Tom Lasorda. Boy, what an exciting time it is here in Cooperstown, and the Hall of Fame is just on fire with enthusiasm. This is definitely the home of baseball. We're going to show you around the Hall of Fame a little bit, and I think we're just going to have a great time this weekend. Stay tuned, and we're going to be excited here at the Baseball Hall of Fame. We're in the gallery at the Baseball Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, New York. Behind me here we have the inductees for 1997. Nellie Fox, Phil Necro, Willie Wells, and Tom Lasorda. A little bit on Phil Necro. Great knuckleballer, spent 24 seasons in the major leagues and was elected to the Hall of Fame this year, which is the 53rd annual election of the Baseball Writers Association Hall of Fame. 57-year-old Necro was elected on the 5th ballot. Had a great record, 318 wins and 274 losses, 3.35 ERA. Big right-hander, was a 5-time All-Star, 5-time Golden Glove winner, tossed a no-hitter August the 5th, 1973 against the Padres. What a great record. And we have Nellie Fox. He was a 19-year major leaguer, one of the catalysts of the go-go Chicago White Sox in the 1950s. He was selected this year by the Veterans Committee. Fox is the 14th second baseman to join baseball's elite. Then we have Willie Wells. And Willie was a slick fielding shortstop, called him Willie the Devil Wells. He batted .331 in a career spanning 20 years in the Negro major leagues. He was elected to the Hall of Fame this year by the Veterans Committee, and he's the 14th Negro League player to be enshrined with baseball's elite. Despite his small stature at 5'9", 166 pounds, Wells had great power and hit some 123 career home runs. His best year in 1930, he batted .403. He played with the Newark Eagles. And then we have Norristown favorite son, Tommy Lasorda, who managed the Los Angeles Dodgers for 20 years. Tommy is elected to the Hall of Fame this year, which is his first year of eligibility. The 70-year-old Lasorda has described his election as the icing on his cake for a long and illustrious career. He's the 14th manager to join baseball's Hall of Fame and one of baseball's most engaging personalities. Lasorda compiled a record of 1,599 wins, 1,439 losses, and he just retired in 1996. During his tenure as skipper of the Dodgers, he had 14 winning seasons, won 8 NL West titles, 4 pennants, and 2 World Series titles. He is only the 4th manager in history to guide the same team for 20 years, joining Hall of Famers Connie Mack, John McGraw, Walt Austin, and his total of 61 postseason games managed is 3rd only to Bobby Cox, who had 70, and Casey Stengel, 63. We're just so excited to be here in the gallery. I'll tell you, it's an exciting time here in Cooperstown, New York. We're going to show you some of the shrines. It's just an awesome experience. Just being here, the feeling of being here around the home of baseball is just fantastic. Here in the gallery, I feel like I'm in the Philadelphia corner right here with the 1995 induction of Michael Jack Smith, Steve Norman Carlton, old lefty is in here. We have Reggie Jackson, who was from down the Cheltenham area, went to Cheltenham High School. And then right around the corner, we have Richie Ashburn. And of course, we now have the opening for Tom Lasorda and Nellie Fox, Phil Necro, and Willie Wells. I'm in front of the New York Yankee display with 4 New York guys here at the Hall of Fame. How are you today, fellas?
Good.
Where are you from?
Horseheads, New York.
What's your name?
Andy Blanchard.
Horseheads, New York, Chris Blanchard.
Horseheads, New York, Chris Barberry.
I'm from Horseheads too. I'm Adam Dangler.
Is this your first time here?
Third.
Third?
Yep.
How many times you been here?
4 years.
What's your favorite part of the hall?
The movies and the gift shop.
How many times have you been here?
9. This is my 9th year. My favorite part's the Yankee display. And
Are you a Yankee fan?
yeah.
In the history of professional sports, no team has achieved more notoriety and worldwide recognition than baseball's New York Yankees. From Babe Ruth's Bronx Bombers of the 1920 to today's World Series champs, the Yankees have dominated baseball like no other team, capturing a record 23 world titles and 34 American League flags. Historically playing the role of baseball's antagonist, the Yankees' name has become synonymous with the term dynasty. The New York Yankees, and they are a dynasty. You know, when you think of the Yankees, obviously the first one you think about is Babe Ruth, but so many greats were part of this dynasty. Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Casey Stengel, Reggie Jackson. A shot here of Bill Dickey, Lou Gehrig, Tony Lasorda, and a rookie by the name of Joe DiMaggio. This is a 1951 photo of Joe DiMaggio and Hank Bauer. We have a glove and a pair of shoes from Babe Ruth. It's incredible the size of Babe Ruth and the shoes that he had, type of glove and equipment that they used back then. We're here in the contemporary section. You know, with the latest stars, and you couldn't possibly miss Phoenixville native Mike Piazza, catcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and certainly a real future Hall of Famer here, I'd have to believe. And we have here also Cal Ripken Jr., Lenny Dykstra. The names go on and on in this section too. I hope you young people out there know what Benny Bengoff said: if you want to be big league, you got to think big league. We're in the history section here at the Hall of Fame, and I'm here with the Norristown family, Jim and Charlotte Catania and their 2 boys. Hi guys, how are you?
Good. Good.
This your first visit to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Yes.
How you like it so far?
It's big.
It's good. Exciting too, huh? What's your name?
Steven.
How old are you?
8.
8.
Nathan. 12.
12. What's your favorite exhibit so far, Nathan?
Just saw the Babe Ruth, and it's good.
Pretty
It's
awesome.
good.
How about that double-day ball? That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Huh? A little small. Jim?
Yeah.
First trip?
Oh, yeah. What I've seen so far, unbelievable. It just amazes me. But we're not done yet. It's just a start.
What brought you here this time?
Tommy. Tommy did, yeah.
Hey, everybody loves Tommy.
Yeah,
At any
Tommy's
rate.
us.
Yeah.
It's one of us.
And you know, he never fails to let everybody know he's from Norristown.
That's right.
Too. You
That's
know,
right.
Yeah. Charlotte, how you enjoying your trip so far?
It's wonderful.
How long did it take you to get up here?
About 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
4.5
Drove
hours.
up.
Yeah, drove up. Long ride.
2 o'clock in the morning we start.
I tell you, I saw the line out here this morning at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. The line waiting to get in. It's just an awesome experience, and the enthusiasm here of the people is just fantastic. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your visit and you stick around for the ball game because the Padres are playing the Dodgers. So that'll be a pretty awesome time too, huh? A trip to the Hall of Fame here in Cooperstown just wouldn't be complete without visiting the Babe Ruth exhibit, and he's certainly deserving of an exhibit all of his own. You know, the Babe had a troubled childhood. He wasn't an orphan, but certainly with the problems that he experienced, he ended up in St. Mary's home for troubled youth, and from there he really turned his life around, got involved in baseball, gave baseball an all-new dimension brought the slugger into the game. And with Lou Gehrig, he started the New York Yankee dynasty that we're still experiencing today. And everybody remembers the house that Babe built and the name that Babe built for baseball.
To this day, controversy and discussion rage about Babe's famous called shot home run. clubs riding each other, doing everything to each other. Well, I was just one particular time when I went to bat, Johnny Ruth was pitching. And the first pitch ball was a called strike. Well, I thought it was outside and didn't like it very much. So the boys that were there would give me this point you. Well, the second pitch ball was another called strike. Well, I didn't like that much, so I ended up. Well, I stepped out of the box, and by that time they were over there going crazy. Well, I looked down the center field and I tore it. I said, I'm going to hit the next pitch ball right past the flagpole. Well, good Lord, must have been my In 1935, Dave signed with the National League Boston Braves as an assistant manager and player. In May, he had a 3-home run game, the last one his 714th and the last hit of his career. In 1936, he was one of the first 5 players elected to the new Hall of Fame. In 1939, when the museum in Cooperstown opened, Dave was there.
It's just like an anniversary myself, because 25 years ago yesterday, I pitched my first baseball game in Boston. Boston Red Sox. So it seems like an anniversary for me too, and I'm sure it's a pleasure to see him up here and be 6,000 on the Hall of Fame.
April 27, 1947, was Babe Ruth Day throughout the major leagues. Looking thin and frail, he arrived one more time at Yankee Stadium. The house that Ruth built was filled with his fans once again. On August 16, 1948, Babe Ruth finally succumbed to his long illness and died. The sounds of Ave Maria replaced the familiar cheers for the greatest sports hero of his age.
Moving on from Babe's exhibit, I guess it's only appropriate that they put the slugger's room right next door. And certainly the one slugger who made a difference, who hit more home runs even than Babe Ruth, was Hank Aaron. You know, looking back, he had a real tough challenge because he faced not only a challenge of beating Babe Ruth's record, but also some of the challenges faced with some of the prejudice in America at his time. Hank Aaron, just a great American hero.
Coming around third, his teammates are at home plate, and listen to this crowd.
Aaron finished his career with 755 round trippers, 3,771 hits, and a .305 batting average. He was elected in the Hall of Fame in 1982, the first year of his eligibility. At the induction ceremonies in Cooperstown, Aaron summed up his career by saying,
"For 23 years, I took the talent that God gave me and developed it to the best of my ability. 23 years ago, I never dreamed that this high honor would come to me. For it was not fame I sought, but rather to be the best baseball player that I could possibly be."
Baseball is celebrating 50 years since Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, and African Americans have made a tremendous contribution to the game of baseball. Certainly this year is a time really to give tribute for pride and passion that the African American community have dedicated to the game of baseball. Back then, Branch Rickey certainly made a move that was dynamic, exciting, and different, and brought a lot of change and a lot of trouble to the game, but they persevered. And Jackie Robinson faced discrimination at every turn, at every ballpark, at every city and town that he visited, but he persevered. He was great on and off the field. What an example, what a hero for young Americans to look to. A man who faced trouble, and in the face of adversity, he excelled. We're in front of the Centennial exhibit here at the Hall of Fame. from 1839 to 1939. And this photo was taken in 1939 as the Hall of Fame opened here with some of the true legends of the game, with Babe Ruth, Connie Mack, Cy Young, Eddie Collins, Hannes Wagner, Grover Alexander. Just an awesome group of baseball's greatest stars. We're going to take a little walk through of some of the great teams, some of the great ball players that led the teams. You know, when we talk about some dynasties, it really wasn't a dynasty, but you can't help remembering the whiz kids, the 50 Phillies with Robin Roberts, relief pitcher Jim Constantine, the whiz kids, Dick Sisler, Richie Ashburn, Del Ennis. What a great team they had. Eddie Sawyer's 1950 whiz kids captured the first National League pennant for Philadelphia in almost 35 years. What a great ball club, and so many memories back then. And it took a long time for Philadelphia to ever get another title, but we've had some good ball clubs over the years. But just like a hitter, every now and then you hit a slump. Let's hope the Philadelphia Phillies are coming out of their slump. We were just talking about the 1950 whiz kids, and we have some fans here from Philadelphia right now. What's your name?
My name's Ken.
Hi, Ken.
And I'm with my two nephews, Ryan and Eric.
Hi,
also
guys.
from Philadelphia.
How are you enjoying your visit?
Very much so. We're enjoying it a lot. We come up here a lot for the weekends.
Do you?
Yes.
It's not your first time here then?
No, this is my fourth. Yeah.
And are you here for the ball game, the induction ceremony?
The induction ceremony, not the ball game. We leave tomorrow night.
What seems to keep bringing you back?
Just the whole history about baseball, and it's a really nice town, and it's very good for the kids and family. It's a good experience.
What's your favorite exhibit, guys?
Babe Ruth.
You like the Yankees? Are you Yankee fans?
No, not that much. They're okay. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy your visit here to the Hall of Fame. It's a great little town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Died
That's your
in a
first
worldwide
visit ever to the Hall of Fame?
First one. First time.
What was your favorite exhibit so far?
Well,
I enjoyed the film, and I thought that was kind of neat.
I haven't seen anything I dislike yet.
Oh, I haven't seen anything I didn't like either. I think when we saw the Yankee pitcher
Hawkins, Andy Hawkins,
pitch his no-hitter and lose to the White Sox. We were at the game and lose 4-0. I think maybe I enjoyed seeing that there and feeling that I was at the game. You know, I think that was kind of a neat thing. You know.
Well, I could also remember sitting in left field of Comiskey Park when Minnie Minoso first came up with the White Sox.
Hit the home run in the
yeah.
bullpen. I was there with you, kid.
But I guess the best thing I remember, first time I saw Nelson Fox play, he made 2 errors. And I said something to the effect of, "Why did we trade for this stumblebum?" And my father looked at me and said, "Behave yourself, you're looking at a world-class champion."
Right, too. She remembers the first game of going with her mother to a Ladies' Day game when the price was $0.25.
Yeah.
And I can't really remember the first game I ever saw, but I do remember seeing Monty Stratton pitch for the White Sox back in the mid-30s. My mother used to tell me that if I made my bed, we'd listen to it on the radio, there wasn't television then, you know. And she'd say if I made my bed, it would bring the White Sox luck and they'd win. So that was maybe that high when that was happening.
You know, and what really impresses me is that the Hall of Fame in baseball just breaks down all the barriers, age, color, just everything. You see the enthusiasm here. It's just such an exciting place to visit. It's great.
It struck me this morning, we parked and got on the trolley to come downtown. And everybody on the trolley was just yakety.
Friendly and wonderful people, yes.
Yeah, they were.
All great.
It's so hard to describe, you know, unless you're here, unless you see it, unless you hear it. It's so hard
All
to see.
I know is that I told my daughter we were coming up here, and she lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And she emailed me back that she was green with envy, and I should remember not only my granddaughters, but my daughter.
Well, I'll tell you, if you get a chance, you really need to get out here and visit Baseball Hall of Fame. It's just a wonderful place, just a nice place that just defies the time barriers and every other barrier we have, breaks down all the things, all the problems. You know, just talking to Tom Ramsey and Dave Guy, two of our crew members that are here with me covering the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And you know, you just couldn't possibly do justice to this Hall of Fame. You can't catch every exhibit, but I couldn't help myself. We couldn't miss the 1980 exhibit for the Philadelphia Phillies. You know, the Phillies and the Royals won their division 4 times in 5 years, and they met in the World Championship in 1980. The Phillies, for 7 years, ran the whole gamut from last place to first place, and they did it with a nucleus of left-hander Steve Carlton, a Hall of Famer, Mike Schmidt, the most prolific power hitter, third baseman in the history of the game. Schmidt averaged 34 home runs a season during his 16 years as a Philly and received the MVP in 1980, where he set all major league records. And of course, we couldn't help talking about the 80 Phillies without talking about Pete Rose, who all of us really have a heart for Pete and certainly like to see him get inducted into the Hall. Then in 1981, you have the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they picked up 3 pennants in 5 years. And certainly when you talk about the Dodgers, you have to talk about the Dodger manager who's being inducted this weekend, Norristown's favorite son, Tommy Lasorda. And favorite son he is. He's just a fantastic guy. He's Mr. Baseball, probably the #1 ambassador for baseball in all the world. And you probably know we interviewed Tommy a few times on our show, and he's certainly Mr. Baseball, maybe the #1 ambassador in all the sport. And being inducted into Cooperstown's Baseball Hall of Fame certainly has to be the icing on the cake to a great career. 20 years as a manager, many titles, many awards. But you know what, Tommy, the most important thing is the way he views baseball, the way he views life, his attitude toward young people. Anytime I've ever been in a setting with him, the young people just congregate, just come around him and they can feel the enthusiasm. And one of Tommy's things is that his dreams come true. They really do. And this certainly has to be a dream come true for him this weekend, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know, I have to close now. I hate to leave here, but you know, sooner or later you got to leave. But I'll tell you, it's just in a fairy tale world. The enthusiasm here, the atmosphere here. If you ever get a chance, stop out here and visit Baseball's Hall of Fame. Thanks again for joining us. I want you to know it can happen to you like it happened to them. We're here in Cooperstown, New York, attending the induction ceremony into the Baseball Hall of Fame for Tommy Lasorda. And I'm here today with the Lasorda brothers, and this is really a family affair. These fellas have such a close-knit family, such a wonderful Italian heritage type family that they have to share in this wonderful day right along with their brother. I mean, it's just that kind of family. And I have with me here Smokey, Eddie, Morris, and Harry Lasorda. And gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And you know, when I said about a family affair, I know that's how it's been for you guys. You're just so close-knit, you get along so well together, and you know, you do things together. This has to be a great day for the Lasorda family.
Sure is.
Maybe, Eddie, if you could you maybe just relate some of your feelings today of what's been going on, what transpired, maybe a memory that you might have of the old days?
Well, as the years went by, and it started with Tommy signing as a professional contract, we were proud of him. And then, after he went away and played ball, he became the manager of the Dodgers, and again, we were proud of him. But then, when the day came, and believe it or not, Russ, it was on my brother Harry's birthday, March the 5th, excuse me, that they inducted him into the Hall of Fame. And of all the years that went by and we were proud of him, this has to be the best of all. We're so proud of him, it's pitiful.
Smokey, would
well, we always kind of had a feeling that he would make it, you know, pretty high up. Because when we were kids, I know that's all he did was play baseball all the time, you know. And there was times he even had to babysit for me, and he took me out to the ballpark with him just so he could play ball. and he worked hard, and he never thought he would make the Hall of Fame, but boy, I tell you what, we sure are glad to be here. What a final moment this is for me and my brothers and our whole family and all the people from Norristown. We want to thank everybody.
Morris, you want to share something with us?
I guess Eddie and Smokey probably said it all, but yeah, we're very, very proud of Tommy. Tommy has accomplished a lot, and he worked hard to get here. It's just not a talent that brought him here. Hard work brought Tommy here. Tommy worked hard as a pitcher in the minor leagues and the major leagues, worked hard as a manager, worked hard. I think hard work is what brought Tommy here, and dedication.
Aaron?
Well, I said to him when I saw him, I said, brother, can you top this one? He said, I'm working on it. He said, it's hard to top this one. Unbelievable. We're so proud of him. Never thought that he would end up in the Hall of Fame. No way. I thought he'd end up somewhere else.
You know, it seems incredible, and you guys are from Norristown. We feel almost, the people in Norristown, Montgomery County area, like adopted your whole family. I mean, it's just such a wonderful feeling. It's one of us that have gotten there to the real pinnacle of his career, of his field. I mean, you know, it's just an unbelievable day.
He just worked so hard to get here, and everything from the day he signed his first professional contract, he just devoted so much, and then he devoted so much to baseball, as they are always saying, the ambassador of baseball. He preaches it day and night, day and night. So, again, he earned it, really.
Well, are you guys involved in sports and stuff as you were
growing up? You never as good as him.
Yeah, we tried our turn at it. But
Tommy was the only one that signed professional.
He just kept going, you know. I mean, after we played, after we get a certain age, you know, we gave it up. But he was determined. He didn't want to stop. He had a couple of idols in the big leagues. You know, he had a few idols.
His nickname from the idol.
Here he is, being inducted in the Hall of Fame with some great athletes, you know, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Duke Snyder, Mickey Mantle. I mean, just at the top of the line. I mean, this is like driving a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
So we're here to celebrate this victory.
When he was a kid, he used to grow up thinking that he was Van Lingo Mungo. And he always got the nickname from that. He was Mungo. And it stuck. But he would say, I'm Van Lingo Mungo. I'm Van Lingo Mungo. Van Lingo Mungo pitched for the Giants. And that's who he thought he was.
Well, it's a great day for you. I want to congratulate your whole family.
Thank you, Russ.
Well, we want to thank
you. Thank you for having us.
I'm just so proud to know you all.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay. So this
Good.
I'm here this evening with Tom Lasorda, the 1997 inductee into baseball's Hall of Fame. Tommy, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It has to be, without a doubt, the greatest day of your life, I guess?
Well, I guess so. In baseball, I think every player or every manager or every executive have thought one time, what would it be like to be going into baseball's Hall of Fame? But very, very few are chosen. And this is a fraternity that is very tough to get into. When you stop and think, in the history of Major League Baseball, there were only 14 managers in the Hall of Fame. And there were a lot of great managers, a lot of them over the years. I'm honored. It's really the greatest thing that can happen to you. I'm still on cloud 9. It's still hard for me to believe that tomorrow I will be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame. That to me is something that's just really difficult for me to even imagine.
Over the years, we talked a little before about some of the dreams and stuff that you had when you were young growing up. Did you ever dream about being in the Hall of Fame?
No, I would hope to, but never dreamt about being in the Hall of Fame. I used to dream about being in the major leagues as a player. That I did dream about. And the dreams become realities, and hopes and prayers are answered. But this is the greatest thing that could ever happen to me.
You know, when you said any ball player who wants to be a major league ball player gets into major leagues, from the very first day he says he wants to be in the Hall of Fame, he made the Hall of Fame, there has to be something else. No? I mean, now you go on. You're a man who has made accomplishments one after another. What now?
Well, you know, I've had a great, great time in this game. I loved every minute of it. I have been able to achieve World Series victories, All-Star victories, Manager of the Year. I've managed 9 Rookies of the Year, 9 National League Rookies of the Year. I have managed Cy Young Award winners, MVPs, but all of those things, they come and then they go. But the Hall of Fame is for eternity. It'll be there forever and ever and ever and ever.
All right, that's phenomenal. When you talk about managing some of these young players, and I know you pour your heart out to these young players as they came up, what would you say was the most difficult part of managing them?
Well, the most difficult part of managing was trying to make everybody happy, trying to make everybody enjoy what they were doing, trying to make everybody feel like they were an important part of the team. It's 25 guys. Each of those fellas have to feel that they are a very important part of the ball club. No matter what their responsibilities and their duties are, my job is to make them, number one, believe in themselves, get them to play the game for the name on the front of their shirt and not the name on the back of their shirt. If 25 guys, a manager, a coaching staff, and an organization all get on one end of a rope and pull together, you can pull the rest of the clubs with you. But if half get on one end and the other half get on the other end of the rope, you can pull all day long, and all you're doing is pulling against yourselves. So I'm very, very proud of the players who have played for me in 20 years that I managed the Dodgers. I know when I got this job, a guy interviewed me. He said, "You're replacing a man who's been there for 23 years. He said, "Do you hope to match that record?" I looked at him, I said, "Buddy, all I want to do is live 23 more years." And here I am. I've had 20 years as manager of the Dodgers. I'm very proud of that.
And you know, besides being a great manager and certainly in the Norristown area, you're a favorite native son of everybody. I mean, we've adopted you as the person there that we all look up to in the career that you've had. You're a family man. Your brothers and yourself. How important was that family type thing for the growth and for your development over the years?
Well, we grew up, we never had a lot of material things in life, but the things that we had were so very, very important. We had love of God in our family. We have love of and respect of our parents. We had love and respect of each other. We were always together. We always were proud of each other. We always believed in each other. And I think all of that we learned from our father and mother. They were the ones who taught us to be outstanding people. They taught us that we must love each other. My father taught us that we lived in the greatest country in the world, the land of opportunity. He said, you must do everything you can to keep it that way. He said, if you have to fight for your country, you do it. And you might even have to give up your life for your country. But that's the way it is. He was so patriotic, I couldn't believe it. He came over from the old country, came over from Italy, came to the United States. How many times he told us how lucky we were to be born in the greatest country in the world, the land of opportunity. And he taught us that the foundation for love, the foundation for life was respect. Respect of yourself and respect of other people. He said, you build a house, you have to have a strong foundation. When you build your way of life, you have to have a strong foundation. Love and respect, they're the basic foundations of life. And then you build up on everything else. He taught us all of those. He was the greatest philosopher of any man I've ever met in my life.
You know, we see all the accomplishments, and sometimes from the outside, when you look at a person's life, you see all the wonderful things, like in your case, that have happened to you. What was the most difficult obstacle you ever had to overcome?
Well, the most difficult obstacle is when we lost our son. That was something. And then as far as baseball is concerned, we've lost a couple of times where we missed out on the pennant that could have gone the other way. So, but the good days have outnumbered the tough days. You know, a good friend of mine, Reverend Schuler, once told me that tough times never last, but tough people do. My father taught us that in everybody's lifetime there comes a time when one door will close on you. And if you're so concerned with the door that closes, you'll never find the one that's open. He taught us to remember this little saying, because God delays does not mean that God denies. My father was a great man. My mother was the most remarkable woman you could ever have for a mother. So every night they are in our prayers. We thank God because He was good to us by giving us parents that were really and truly wonderful.
You've been an ambassador of baseball. You certainly were the manager that everybody looked to, the father, the grandfather figure that everybody looked to. All throughout the world, you've been the ambassador. Everybody's questioning, are you going to be the commissioner of baseball? I think everybody, you hear, not just because I'm from Norristown or because I know you, it's the talk of the town. I mean, this town's on fire anyway. It's induction weekend, and that's what people are saying on the street, that people that just know you as what you've done for baseball.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Anything that I can do for baseball, anything that I can do to make it a better game, I'm more than honored to do it. If that's what somebody wants me to do, then I feel that I can, hey, help the game of baseball, great, whatever. But I know one thing, I will remain in baseball. I'm vice president of the Dodgers. I thank Peter O'Malley for making all of this possible for me. 48 years with the ball club, 47 years married. You're looking at the most contented, most appreciative, and most grateful man in this whole world. I love what I'm doing. I'm honored to be a part of Major League Baseball, and I hope and pray that I can continue doing it for a lot more years.
I don't want to take much more of your time. I know how busy you are, but I have a lot of young people that watch my show. Can you maybe share with the young people something that they can take out and use in their life, in the world, whatever it is, their career, whatever they're going to do with their life?
Well, I get the opportunity to speak to many, many schools throughout America. And the thing that I try to impress upon the youth of this country is this. Number one, get a good education. Education is something that no one can take away from you. Education opens many, many doors to success. Number two, I try to impress upon them how important it is for them to stay away from illegal drugs. We have a war in this country. It's a war on drugs. And the only way we're going to win the war is we got to make the youngsters know that, number one, it's against the law. Number two, it's harmful to their body. Number three, all it will do is lead them down the path of destruction. We have to make them understand that they should not get involved in illegal drugs. When somebody walks up to you and asks you for to take an illegal drug, you look them in the eye and say, you got the wrong person. I love my life too much. I love my family too much. I tell them that you can be anything you want to be in this country. All you got to do is want it. All you have to do is pay the price. The price of success can only come through the avenue of hard work. Each and every one of the youngsters who are watching this show, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to say to yourself, what do I want to be? What am I going to be that I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing that? And make sure you know what your goals are and go after them with all the drive and all the determination and all the self-confidence that you have. Self-confidence is without a doubt the first step to success. If you believe in yourself, then a lot of other people will believe in you. If you believe it, you can achieve it. So do everything in your power to make your parents proud of you. Do everything in your power to lead a good, constructive life. Be and do something constructive in life. Be a great citizen and do everything you can in your power to live a good and healthy life. That's what I would say to the youngsters. Because you look, I was the third string pitcher on the Norristown, Pennsylvania high school baseball team, and I went on to become a pitcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers, Kansas City Athletics. If I could make it as a third string pitcher, anybody can make it. All you have to do is want it. You got to pay the price, and you're going to ask yourself, how much of a price am I willing to pay?
I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us, and a special time for you. And I tell you, I can't think of anybody who deserves it more. And I can understand why the people of America and the people of baseball love you so much. And the way the children, every time I see the young people around you, the way they flock to you. It's just
Thank you very much.
a pleasure to really be around you.
Thank you. And I'll tell you something else before we finish. You know, I was born and raised in Norristown. I left Norristown at the age of 17 to go play professional baseball. Never been more than 12, 14 miles away from home. No matter where I went, I always tried to represent Norristown. I was proud of the place where I was born. I was proud of the town that I came from. And no matter where I went, I was always proud to say that I was from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Thank you. If you're out there watching, young fellas, young girls, I want you to know it can happen to you like it happened to Tommy, an American dream.
You know what's great, Mark, is that here you have a situation where this is such an inspiration for Montgomery County and Delaware Valley in Pennsylvania. You take someone who started out, had a dream, really believed in it, worked hard, and other young people in Montgomery County and Pennsylvania could say, I want to be like Tommy Lasorda. I want to live out my dream and still make a difference in my community. Because Tommy, no matter where he was, in Europe or across the universe, he says, I'm from Norristown. And we're on Norristown proud today. We're Montgomery County proud. Because one of our heroes made it.
We heard that loud and clear when we interviewed Tommy last night, and he is the most proud Norristonian you ever want to find.
Unbelievable. And he just showed you how he cares about his roots, that his family made a difference, and his friends and coaches made a difference. They all kept saying, try your hardest, push a little harder, work a little longer. And the difference between being your best and not quite making it is the extra hard work and the family support and the community support. So we're lucky to have someone like this, acres of diamonds in our own backyard.
You got that right, John.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you, Mark.
Be the fourth manager in Major League history to guide the same team for at least 20 years, joining Hall of Famers Connie Mack, John McGraw, and Walter Alston, his predecessor with the Dodgers. He managed in 61 postseason games, the second highest total in history behind Casey Stengel. He ranks 12th all-time in games managed and 13th in victories. He managed the National League All-Star team on 4 occasions. He is the 14th manager to be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Thomas Charles Lasorda was born on September 22, 1927 in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Probably no one in baseball who has made more after-dinner speeches over the last quarter century than our next inductee. He has charmed audiences of all ages by speaking warmly of his love of the game and of the people in it. He brought exuberance to that job that reminded us of all of the joys of baseball and became one of the most successful field managers of all time. For a quarter of a century and hundreds of introductions, he has been called to the microphone as Tommy Lasorda. Starting right now, right here, please join me in adding a new descriptive as we officially welcome Hall of Famer Tommy Lasorda. Thomas Charles Lasorda, Los Angeles National League, 1977 to 1996. One of baseball's most engaging personalities and a great ambassador for his sport. Managed Dodgers with an impenetrable passion, claiming to bleed Dodger blue, was in his 47th season with the Dodger organization when he retired as manager. Fourth manager in history to guide same franchise for 20 years, during which he won 8 division titles, 4 National League pennants, and World Championship in 1981 and 1988. 61 postseason games managed, ranks 3rd most in history. Tommy Lasorda.
Thank you very much, Ed. Members of the Hall of Fame, Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Wells, Mr. Feeney, Mr. Dudley's family. 52 years ago, I left Norristown, Pennsylvania, as a 17-year-old aspiring left-hander, scared to death. Never been more than 14 miles from my home. And here it is 52 years later. I've come into Cooperstown and scared to death. You know, I think it's a day of Thanksgiving to thank the people who made it possible for me to be here. My mom and pop, I wish they could be here because they were the greatest parents that anybody could ever have. I want to thank, if I could have seen God 1 week before I got married and had written down on a piece of paper what I wanted for a wife, he couldn't have given me a better one than the one I have after 47 years, my wife, Jo. Here with her is my daughter Laura, my son-in-law Billy, and my granddaughter Emily. I want to thank the Veterans Committee for making all of this possible. Without their support, it could never have happened. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. You know, a few months ago, a man that is very, very dear to my heart announced that he was going to be selling the baseball team. What would baseball be like? Because in the last 50 years there was an O'Malley there. He's one of the most unique owners that anyone could ever want to work for. I love him and his family very, very much. I would like for him to be recognized, him and his sister Terry and her husband Rolly. Peter. There's a man I wish he could be here today, but unfortunately he couldn't make it because of his health. He was my mentor. I love him very, very much. I only wished he could be here because he taught me so much about the game of baseball and about life. My heart goes out to him. I know he's here in spirit. As none other than the great Al Campanis. In 48 years, I served under 2 owners, Walter O'Malley and Peter, 3 general managers, Buzzy Bavasi, Al Campanis, and Fred Clare, 3 farm directors, Fresco Thompson, Bill Schweppe, and Charlie Blaney. I really enjoyed working for them. They were wonderful people. trainers. I want to thank my coaches. I want to thank Bill Bueller for all the service he gave to the Dodgers, one of the most dedicated men I ever met. There's two guys sitting out there that have played a very important part in my life, and I'd like for them to be recognized. Rod Dedeaux, the greatest baseball coach in the history of college baseball, and Ralph Avila, the vice president of the Los Angeles Dodgers. When you honor me here today, you honor my family, you honor the organization that I have represented for 48 years. I love the Dodgers. And to all of you fans, without you, there would be no people like us. You know, I've said time and time again, this game does not belong to the owners, nor does this game belong to the players, and I'll tell you why. You can have the greatest stadium in the world and the best ball team, and if nobody goes through those turnstiles, we've got nothing. We thank you for your support. We need you. We want you to continue supporting the greatest sport in this country, baseball. You gotta love it. You know, as I stand here in front of all of these great Hall of Famers, some of them were my idol, Ted Williams, Al Lopez. Some of them were my competitors. But I want to say this. We need more role models in this country. And these gentlemen that are here with us are the greatest role models that baseball could ever have. I knew many of them, and whenever I saw them, I held them in high esteem. I put them on a pedestal because they did so much for our game of baseball. We appreciate it, we love them, and we respect them very, very dearly. And may they continue to walk around and spread the word Major League Baseball in this great nation of ours. You know, if I said this time and time again, if God had planned for me to be a high school baseball coach, I think my objective would be to try to impress upon the youngsters playing for me how important it is for them to get a good education. And I believe that's more important than winning. Or if God had planned for me to be a college baseball coach, my objective would be to try to impress the youngsters playing for me how important it is for them to prepare themselves for the way of life. That's more important winning. But when you're a manager of a Major League Baseball team, you can forget those two philosophies. You got to win. And if you don't win like many, you'll fall by the wayside. And to tell you how bad I want to win, a few years ago we were playing in Cincinnati. I got up Sunday morning and I went to church. And who came in and sat right next to me was the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, Johnny McNamara. Now I knew why he was in church, and he knew why I was there. And at the conclusion of the Mass, we walked out the center aisle together. I'm thinking, man, I got to beat this guy today. And as we approached the front door, he said to me very quietly, "Wait for me outside, Tommy, I'll be right out." I said, "Okay, Johnny." And I said, "Where's he gone? The Mass is over." And I watched him, and he went over to that side of the church. He knelt down and he lit a candle. And instead of me going out the door, I went over to that side of the church, and I went in front of the altar and I waited. And when he left, I went down and I blew that candle out. I knew one thing. He was not lighting that candle for a dead relative. And all throughout the game I kept hollering, "Hey, Mac, it ain't going to work, pal." I blew it out. And we clobbered them that day, 13-2. And Johnny Mack last year went to Rome and he sent me a card. And all it said, try blowing this candle out. My four brothers are here today, ladies and gentlemen. I want them to stand up. My brother Eddie, my brother Harry, my brothers Morris, and my brother Joey. You know, sometimes when you think all of this is great, you stop and wonder. I think Pee Wee Reese said something to me that put life in the right perspective. I can remember when the 55 Dodgers, which I was a member of, we were being honored in Shea Stadium. And when they called us out to the foul line, I happened to be standing next to the great captain, Pee Wee Reese, that we all loved. And I said, Pee Wee, if someone had walked into the Dodger clubhouse in Ebbets Field in 1955 and said to you, Pee Wee, one of these 25 guys will be managing the Dodgers to a world championship in the year 1981, put them in the order of who do you think it would be? I said, you know where you'd have put me, Pee Wee? 25th. He said, no, you're wrong. I said, where would you have put me? He said, 24th. I said, who would you have 25th? He said, Amorose, he couldn't speak English. You know, there's three people there I'd like for them to be recognized. Two great basketball coaches in this country, Rollie Massimino and Mike Fratello. And one of the great actors in the history of Hollywood. How about it for Tony Danza? I want to congratulate Phil Negro for this tremendous honor for him, because I was fortunate enough to be his manager for 2 weeks when we went to Japan with an all-star team. I'm very, very proud of Phil Negro. I wish him nothing but the best. But you know, I can remember this growing up when I was about 15 years old. I can say this from the bottom of my heart. I was a Yankee fan. Whitey. And I used to go to bed and I used to actually dream that I was pitching for the Yankees. And I looked and Bill Dickey was giving me the signs, and I looked and DiMaggio and Gehrig were on the field. And then all of a sudden I'd feel my mother shaking me and saying, wake up, Tommy, it's time to go to school. I did not want to leave that dream. I wanted to stay there because the dream was so real. After what is happening to me now, it's unbelievable. This is the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my lifetime. I've been fortunate enough to win world championships, Cy Young Awards, MVPs, 9 Rookies of the Year, All-Star games, but they come and go. But the Hall of Fame is eternity. And I thank God for all of it. And I feel that it won't be too long that my mother will be shaking me and saying, wake up, Tommy, it's time to go to school. I am living a dream. Thank you.